Sai bhai, let's start off with you before we look at how this test match was won. I spoke about that Leeds Test. It was a heartbreaking loss for the Indian team. That entire test match, both teams were neck and neck. India go 1-0 down. But look at this test match. What a turnaround. Would you say this is a win for the ages?
Oh yes, I mean look at the margin of the win as well. It is not a margin where they won by a couple of wickets or they won by a few runs. It's a massive win, and so it is something which actually has sent a message to England and the cricketing world that yes, on the odd occasion India can lose, but they will come back very strong like they have in this game at Birmingham. And remember, Birmingham was the fortress as far as India and England matches were concerned, and India has never won a game over here. So therefore, to break that jinx and to win by this huge margin, full absolutely, heartfelt congratulations to the Indian team.
If I was to look back at this particular test match, Saeem, one thing really stands out. That test match in Leeds, they made three major errors, the Indian team. One, their lower order failed to capitalize. They did not contribute with the bat as they should have. Secondly, the Indian bowlers were unable to dismiss the lower order of the opposition team. And third was India's fielding. These were three major areas of concern for the Indian team in the Leeds test match. This particular test match, as I see it, all these three areas have been taken care of. Not only did the Indian lower order contribute, you had the Indian bowlers dismiss the opposition tail, catches were caught. Do you think this is the major reason, fixing those major issues that you had, which has resulted in this win?
Oh, definitely, yes. I think, look, in sport you will keep making mistakes, and sometimes you will repeat the same mistakes because that is the nature of sport, and that is what individuals are. You can practice as much as you can, but you still get out sometimes in the same manner. You can practice catching and throwing as much as you can, but you'll still miss the odd catch and you'll miss another catch. So that is expected in sport. But when you minimize errors, and this is what has happened in this game, the errors have been absolutely minimized, almost to nothing. The catches have been taken, runs have been scored by numbers 7, 8, 9, whether you have a Jadeja and a Washington Sundar making a contribution. So everybody has contributed, and that's why this massive win.
Okay, let's take a look at some of those individual performers, Sunny bhai. I know there'll be two contenders for the man of the match. One, Shubman Gill, 400 plus runs. The other, of course, is going to be Akash Deep. Gets 10 wickets, picks up 4 in the first innings and then 6 wickets in the second innings. My question to you is about Akash Deep. He did not play that Leeds test match. Who knows what the result of that match would have been had he played. But a word on his performance here in Edgbaston.
Brilliant. Again, see, in Australia, he bowled well, but even in Australia, I was saying that his bowling was more like, say, for T20 cricket or one-day cricket. It was economical. But in Test cricket, what you want is not an economy rate. In Test cricket, what you want is a strike rate. And the difference has simply been that he has made the batter play a lot more than he did in Australia. Australia, the lengths were, right, but just a little bit outside the off stump. So the batters were playing and missing, and it looked very good, but he wasn't getting wickets. Here, he's made the batter play, and that has been the big difference. So the batter playing, he's edged the ball, the batter playing a little bit forward, the ball's nipped back in, which is his main delivery, the one that, nips back in. And he's been magnificent. To pick the wickets that he has been absolutely tremendous.
Saiba, you talk about Akash Deep's performance in the Border Gavaskar Trophy. I know it's never easy to really predict the future of any player. These are early days for Akash Deep, but you saw him in the Border Gavaskar Trophy. You've seen him in the first test match that he's played of this series. How do you reckon the future will go for a bowler as talented as Akash Deep?
It depends on the conditions. It depends on, the luck that he has in terms of catching some of the decisions, the LBW, all those decisions that can go sometimes against you. But, he's got the line, he's got the length, and above all, he's got a big heart. You can see that from this performance. He's got a big heart, and, for a fast bowler, to be able to have a big heart and bowl on pitches like this. Like, I mean, you've seen that in the 3 innings that we saw, there's been nothing for the batters for the bowlers at all.
His spin, beg your pardon, his fast bowling twin in this test match, Mohammed Siraj, picked up 6 wickets in the first innings. Of course, gets that 1 wicket in the second innings as well. Siraj, unlike Akash Deep, played that first test match in Leeds, wasn't as effective, picked up 2 wickets in that entire duration of that test match. What do you think Mohammed Siraj, he of course is the other thing that you see, loves to take responsibility. I was taking a look at some stats. Every time Jasprit Bumrah is not there, he ends up picking a lot of wickets. Apart from that, what do you think Siraj did differently in this test match compared to that first?
Again, the line and the length. The lines and the length in Leeds were perhaps a little bit different, but again, the pitch was different. So the pitch at Leeds had a little for the bowlers. So there was the odd ball that was kicking through. There was the odd ball that was moving around. So he was looking to maybe trying a little too hard and not quite hitting the right line and right length. But now, in Bumrah's absence, he took the responsibility as the senior bowler and changed that line and length just subtly, so that he was able to take those wickets. Look at the wickets that he had. LBW, he had batters being caught as well. The delivery to get Ben Stokes out to the bouncer was an absolutely incredible delivery. So all in all, a super performance from this wholehearted fast bowler.
After a good performance, usually, good performance are there to be celebrated, as these 2 bowlers' performance will also be celebrated. But with it comes a bit of a headache too, because the other good news is that India's pace spearhead, Jasprit Bumrah, most likely is going to be available for that Lord's Test match. Jasprit Bumrah comes in, Siraj has had a great performance, Akash Deep has had a great performance. Who goes out for you then?
I think it's clear. I think Prasidh Krishna will have to make way, because in the first innings he was a bit expensive, even in Leeds. Although he got a few wickets, he really didn't look as if he was going to break through. While with Akash Deep and Mohammed Siraj, you've seen the number of top-class deliveries that they bowled, and they might have not got a wicket played and miss or wrapped on the pads. So I think Prasidh, because his length was not quite right, I believe that he will make way for Bumrah.
Of course, as we're calling this the bastion of this English cricket team, Edgbaston, has been breached. And why is it that we're saying that? We're saying that simply because in the previous 8 attempts that the Indian team had at this very ground in Birmingham, they were unable to win a test match. The best that any Indian teams that had the great Kapil Devs, the Sunil Gavaskar, before that Virat Kohli's of the world, and then Rohit Sharma's. Everyone has scored, Rahul Dravid and Sachin Tendulkar. Previous generations, never could any team win a game here in Birmingham at Edgbaston. So this was really a fortress of the English cricket team, and this young team under Shubman Gill has breached that fortress. They have really conquered that final bastion of this English cricket team, and that is why we are celebrating this particular victory of the Indian team. We're going to be taking a closer look at some of the top performers of the Indian team. As I mentioned right at the start, there were really 3 heroes. Some of them you're seeing on your screens right now. You've got an Akash Deep, you have Mohammed Siraj that picked up wickets, and then you also had Shubman Gill getting close to 400 runs in this particular test match. We still have Mr. Gavaskar with us live on our broadcast. And Saima, because we were talking about various good performers, let's turn our attention now to Shubman Gill. He was this young captain taking this young team to England. Clearly, captaincy has had a great effect on Shubman Gill, the batter. He doesn't just seem to stop scoring ever since he's become the Test captain.
Yes, I mean, he's got 100 in his first Test as captain, and now a century in each innings. So captaincy sits lightly on his shoulders, and he's got a pleasant air about him on the field as well. Yes, he's very competitive. Yes, when he's on the field, he wants wickets, but there is just that pleasant air about him, which makes life also easy for all those who are playing under him. And I do believe that he does not really have to change his style. What he is, the calmness that he shows while batting is the calmness that he has brought to the captaincy, and that is the style that he should stick to, because that is the style that works well for him. We have seen it. Even in Leeds, India lost. But look at the number of runs that they scored. India lost because the catches didn't stick, the fielding was not quite good, and as we saw, the lower order didn't contribute those 40, 50 runs that could have made the difference.
Just sticking on with Shubman Gill's captaincy, Saibhai, there was this one record that we've celebrated for so many years that belongs to you, 774 runs in a test match series, 4 test matches. You got it against West Indies. That's never been broken. But you know, records are meant to be broken. Shubman Gill, 585 already, just 2 test matches in. Still, you know, you've got 3 test matches to go. Worthy contender to break your record.
Oh yes, I think at Lords is probably you know, where it will go as well, and really a worthy contender, because look, there is purity of technique in his batting. He's got all the shots in the book, front foot, back foot. He's, you know, and more importantly, he's got this you know, wonderful ability to shoulder the you know, the responsibility of playing the way that the team needs. So clearly, I think records are meant to be broken. I would be delighted that another SG takes that record.
SG, that's right.
And if you want, you can break his name, you know, his first name into 2. Make it Shubman Gill. So that also becomes SMG.
Ah, that is a lovely wordplay. I expect nothing less from the great Sunil Gavaskar. That's right. Another SMG to break the record of the original SMG, who is still live with us. Talking about breaking of records, of course, you hold the India record, 774. The record, 974, most runs ever in a 5 test match series, belongs to who else but the great Sir Don Bradman. That also doesn't seem a far cry at the moment. He's just, what, I think 390 odd runs short with 3 test matches to go. You wouldn't bet against Gill beating that record too, would you?
Yep, I think more than that, what would be amazing would be being the first ever batter to get 1,000 runs in a test series. So I think he's got 6 more innings. Maybe not unless India is going to win by innings in the next couple of games. But at least 6 innings, minimum 6 innings ahead of him. And the kind of form that he's shown in, there's every hope that this young man can set up records that will be virtually impossible to break.
Okay, Saibhai, now the series is 1-all. Of course, India started this particular series as the underdog. But now that it's 1-all, this Indian team showed a great version of themselves in that first test match. Second, of course, they've gone on to win and dominated that test match. Where do you see this series go from here? Is it on an even keel, or has any side now taken an edge?
I think it's on an even keel. Look, India's got the bowling to take advantage of, grassy pitches. India's got the batting to be able to handle that we saw at Leeds. We've seen it over here. So all in all, I think what was needed really was a little bit of improvement in the fielding, a little bit of contribution down the order from the batters, and that's what India got in this game, and that's why this massive win.
Finally, Saibhai, before we let you go, and this is just a larger question. Remember, because we're looking at this series, the context to this series was that this is a young Indian team. This has gone without its 2 stalwarts in Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli. Now the performance of this young Indian team, doesn't matter where the series goes from here, has it allayed the fears of anyone who had any doubts about the future of Indian cricket? They can feel secure that yes, the future is secure with this young team, even though they've gone without 2 players who've just recently retired?
Oh, well, the history of cricket has shown, it's not now, history of cricket has shown that there is nobody who is indispensable. Nobody. So there is always going to be somebody or the other who will come. Yes, we will miss all those wonderful players, no question about it, because they've given us so many thrills, they've given us so many wins. But nobody in the history of the game, not Sir Don Bradman, not Sir Garfield Sobers, nobody, and I'll stop at that because these have been two absolutely the greatest. I'll stop at that, but nobody in this game is indispensable. Why? I mean, when Bumrah didn't play this game, who thought that India would have the capability of taking 20 wickets? So nobody is indispensable.
All right, Mr. Gavaskar, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for sharing those insights. And